This is the story of a young girl who could not sleep at 11 p.m. because some nights, the heart is simply too full of things it cannot say. The room is so quiet that Mai can hear the wall clock swallowing each second. She lies on her side, facing the wall. The phone on her pillow has been turned face down for a long time, but its light seems to remain somewhere inside her mind anyway. That cold blue glow of unanswered messages, missed calls, and names that have been gone for so long, yet still refuse to disappear. Mai is 23. At that age, people like to say you still have your whole life ahead of you. But on nights like this, she does not see a whole life stretching before her. She sees only a silent darkness hanging from the ceiling all the way down into her chest, heavy enough to make even breathing feel like effort. She cannot sleep, not because of coffee, not because of the traffic outside, not because she is too warm or too cold, but because her heart is carrying too much. On some days, Mai gets through life quite well. She wakes up on time, goes to work, replies to messages, smiles when she is supposed to smile, nods when she is supposed to nod. She does everything exactly like someone who is fine. So convincingly, in fact, that no one asks further. So convincingly that sometimes even she is fooled. Only the night does not know how to lie. Night strips everything away from a person. Lipstick, laughter, politeness, busyness, that tidy self-control worn during the day. Night returns you to yourself in your most fragile form. And tonight, Mai has been returned to herself. She opens her eyes and stares at the white wall. A thin line of light slips through the curtain and lies across it like a crack. Suddenly, she thinks of her mother. Her mother had called that afternoon and asked, "Have you been tired lately?" Mai had opened her laptop and answered at once, "I'm fine, Mom." She had said it quickly, the way people say sentences they have memorized. But now, lying in the silence, that answer feels like a small stone lodged in her throat. Not painful enough to choke her, just constant enough that she cannot swallow it down. She is not fine. She is tired of pretending not to be tired. She is sad because she cannot fully tell anyone the truth of her. Sadness. She misses someone who left long ago, and that longing is no longer sharp, it just burns low and steady, like a wound that has closed on the surface but never truly healed. Mai turns over and reaches for her phone. 11:13 p.m. She opens an old message thread. That name is still there. Above it, a conversation that ended long ago. The words are ordinary in a way that feels cruel. "Did you get home yet? Don't forget dinner. Sleep early, okay?" Human beings are strange. Sometimes we are haunted for years, not by grand declarations, but by small tendernesses that no longer exist. Her finger hovers over the keyboard. She thinks she could send just one message, one harmless sentence, one line that would pretend none of it had ever hurt her. But then she turns the screen off, not because she has forgotten, but because she knows that some doors, once closed, do not hold hope behind them anymore, only echo. She sits up. The blanket slips from her shoulders. The night air touches her skin with a thin, dry chill. On the desk sits a glass of cold water, an open book, a hair clip, a few unpaid receipts. Everything looks so ordinary. Ordinary enough to make her sadness feel excessive. But sadness has never needed a good enough reason to exist. Mai steps onto the floor and walks barefoot to the window. She pulls the curtain aside. The city opens before her in hundreds of distant squares of light. Somewhere out there, someone is still awake because of work. Someone is awake because of a child. Someone is awake because of an argument. Someone is awake because they are lonely. Perhaps among all those lit windows, someone else is sitting with their knees pulled to their chest, just like her, wondering why growing older has made peace harder to find. Mai presses her forehead against the glass. Cold. The cold makes her eyes sting. There are nights when people do not cry because of one specific thing. They cry because they have been holding themselves together for too long, because they have swallowed too much, because they no longer have the strength to carry themselves in that familiar, calm way. Mai thinks about the past few days. Mornings she did not want to wake up for. Meals she barely finished. Conversations in which her own voice sounded distant to her, as if someone else had been living this life on her behalf, while the real her stayed trapped somewhere behind her eyes. She used to think growing up meant becoming stronger. Later, she learned that growing up often simply means learning how to keep walking through life with a tired heart without letting anyone worry. Mai goes back to the bed and takes down the small box from the shelf. Inside are a few old movie tickets, a faded photograph, a folded scrap of paper, and a hair tie dulled by time. She opens the scrap of paper. Only a few slanted handwritten words from years ago. Nothing remarkable. And yet the moment she sees them, something inside her breaks quietly, because she realizes that what hurts most is not only that someone else left, it is that the version of herself from those years is gone too. The girl in the photograph is smiling so brightly that it seems impossible anything could ever frighten her. That girl believed if you loved someone enough, held on tightly enough, tried long enough, then things would stay. Mai looks at that old face for a long time. Then she whispers, almost soundlessly, "When did I lose my way?" The room does not answer. There is only the faint sound of a passing motorbike, the wind brushing the window frame, and the sound of her own breathing, thin and trembling like a thread. At last, Mai cries. Not loudly, not violently. The tears simply fall, quiet and steady, as if they have been waiting behind her eyelids for a very long time. She sinks down onto the floor, leans against the bed, and pulls the blanket around her knees. In that position, she looks smaller, like a child. A child who grew up too quickly, learned how to soothe herself, bandage herself, tell herself it's okay, so many times that she forgot what it felt like for someone to look into her eyes and say, "You're tired, aren't you?" Mai buries her face in her knees. For the first time in many days, she does not try to stop crying. She does not scold herself for being weak. She does not reach for her phone to escape. She does not turn on music to fill the emptiness. She simply stays there with her sadness. Sadness, when it is no longer chased away, is not a wild animal after all. It is more like a child caught in the rain, standing at the door of your heart, shivering, only wanting to be recognized. Mai takes a deep breath. Then, very softly, she says to herself, I know I've been tired for a long time." The words leave her mouth, and something in her chest loosens a little. Not much, just a little, but there are nights when a person does not need to be saved completely. They only need to drown a little less. 11:47 p.m. Mai stands up and pours herself a glass of warm water. Her feet are still cold, her eyes still red, her head still heavy. No miracle has happened. The person she misses has not come back. The unfinished things in her life remain unfinished. Tomorrow morning, she will probably still have to get up, still have to work, still have to live through another ordinary day. And yet, holding that warm glass in her hands, she feels something very small beginning to return. Not joy, not peace, not yet. Only a fragile awareness that this body is still hers. This breath is still here. And no matter how long this night is, it will eventually pass. She returns to the desk and pulls an old notebook toward her. The blank page waits quietly. Mai holds the pen for a long time before writing a single line. I tried my best today. She pauses, looking at the slightly shaking handwriting. Then she adds, it's okay if I'm not okay tonight. Just don't leave me behind. Her hand stops there. The tears are no longer falling, but her eyes still burn. She puts the pen down and holds the notebook against her chest as if it were something fragile but real. Outside the window, the city is still lit. Inside the small room, Mai turns off the desk lamp. The darkness settles slowly. She lies down again and pulls the blanket up to her neck. She still is not sleepy. She is still sad. The emptiness is still there. But inside that emptiness now, there is something else too, something very small. The softness that comes after honesty. Mai places a hand over her chest. Her heart is still beating. She closes her eyes. The night does not immediately take her into its arms. Sleep does not come at once. But this time, she is no longer resisting herself. She lets her sadness lie down beside her the way someone sets down a heavy suitcase after carrying it for far too long. For many people, 11 p.m. is the hour when sleep begins. For Mai, it is the hour she stops pretending to be strong. And perhaps healing is not the day you wake up and realize you no longer hurt. Perhaps healing is simply this. In a very small room, on a very late night, a young girl finally becoming gentle enough not to turn away from her own heart. She is not fully okay yet, but she is no longer abandoning herself in the dark. And that, perhaps, is a beginning.